I wrote a check. I wrote a check recently.
Who you writing a check to?
I wrote a check to someone I had to write a check to. I don't really
Is
want to
this-
get into it, but I wrote a check.
This
I did. I'll say it's a plumber.
a plumber? They don't have
Yeah.
Venmo
Yeah, I've written a check. Yes. So,
or a credit card? You couldn't use a credit card?
no, I don't think that person would
Who's
take.
so? Do you? I had this topic a little while ago when I was in Maryland, and someone wrote a check when we were at the diner. My wife and I were at the diner. Do you remember this when I brought this up? And someone wrote a check, and it took so long, and everyone
Yeah.
in line was livid. Checks are awful. No
Actually,
one
I'll
should
tell
be
you.
writing checks anymore.
You know, I wrote a check to. I
No.
hired myself a life coach this year.
No,
You should appreciate that.
right.
I did.
No, you didn't.
I did. I absolutely did. I hired myself a life coach.
First of all, you need to fire that
We
life
spoke
coach
about
immediately.
this. Are you serious?
I did.
Fire the life coach immediately. If any life coach who takes personal checks is so far behind the ball, that should be number one sign that that's not a good life coach.
Oh, that's
Anyone
not
who takes
good.
Personal checks.
I think I mentioned the podcast too, so they might be listening. So this is not going to go
Right.
well for me. That's
No, it's
yes.
I
I
might
decided.
tell you to leave the podcast.
Yeah, right. That'll be the first. No, I did.
Josh,
I feel like
I don't think that Josh, I have to say, Josh, you're not. The thing about you is that because you have helped me get through certain creative bottlenecks,
Yes,
and you do put time into it. However, I also think that you really operate by fear and shame. So I think in many ways you're the opposite of what a life coach. Maybe David needs someone as a compliment because he has to spend an inordinate amount of time with you.
Listen,
Yes.
the way I see it, Dave's doing pretty well. He's got
better.
He's got a good family. He's doing real well in his career. He's going to be a granddad, or he is a granddad.
No, not yet. Well,
Not
I
yet,
guess.
almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean things are going in the right direction for Dave, unless there's stuff we don't know about.
No, it's about improvement. It's and that's actually one of the things. It's easy to be complacent. That was what I was fearful of 2024. I felt I was kind of looking forward to my year 2024 and said, you know what? I can almost plan what my 24 is going to look like, and it's going to look a lot like last year. My trips, my
Yeah, but
things
that's
I'm gonna-
great.
I do, and I had a great 23.
Yeah,
But I feel
that's
like-
great.
But I want to always be striving for improvement.
All
Like,
right.
what should I be
All right.
doing that is 2023 plus something even greater? And
Why don't you
So-
take the money that you're paying a life coach and buy yourself something really cool, and that will make 2024 awesome.
I could do that. I could.
Yeah.
I have a
Think about the-
PlayStation 5 already, so I don't.
Well,
To
think
think
about the
about.
money you're using for a life coach and what that maybe could buy instead.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'm
think
going to
that's
give the
very
life coach.
fair.
Well, I'll be letting you know how it's going, unless
All right.
my life coach is listening. Then I might want to keep that quiet. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but
And by the
Omar-
way, it's going to be. Here's the other thing, by the way, that you just entered into. You've entered into an impossible relationship to end. To dump your life coach is going to be an impossible task.
So I'm still trying to drop mine.
Yeah, you can't.
It's been 2 years.
Yeah,
He
it's
said,
a
he said,
timeshare.
I get WhatsApps, I get text messages, I get emails, I get invitations to events.
You have just
You
bought
know.
yourself an emotional timeshare
well,
of
that's why I
hell
wrote a check.
that you're never getting out of.
I
You're never
signed
getting
up.
out of it.
I sign up for a certain amount of time with a check, and when that's done, if I don't like it, then maybe I'll just ghost
Okay.
it. At that.
Nope.
Yeah, this is a dangerous double click for a topic.
Nope.
I mean, I don't know. Like, have you vetted? Like, who did what school did this guy train under for this form of?
Okay,
Wow.
so I don't.
Coaching?
I will admit that my research into this was very, very small. It consisted of a 5-minute web search, a quick phone conversation, and off we went. So
If I'm going to get a life coach, I'm going to want to go to that person's home. I want to see how they live. I want to see who their friends are and who else they coach, because that will tell me if they are indeed a good life coach.
yeah,
If things are going well for them, that's
No.
at least a start.
that's I disagree. Have you seen the joke where you have two
What?
barbers and one has an awful haircut and the other has a great haircut?
Okay.
Which barber do you go to?
The great haircut.
No, you go to the one with the bad haircut because he's the one who gave the haircut to the guy who's got a good haircut. You know,
That's
right?
the worst logic I've
No,
ever heard.
so I don't need their life to be great. Their life could be a mess. I want them to
Okay.
use their mess.
The
to make
analogy
my
is
life.
very flawed. The analogy is
no.
very flawed. A barber
Omar,
cannot give himself
no.
a haircut. Number one. So the barber can't give yourself a haircut. Well, you can, but you can't.
Wait,
In the same way you
hold on,
give to others.
before that's my point. Is you hire the guy that has a bad haircut because he's obviously the one that gave the guy with a good haircut the haircut.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but yes, I do know what you're saying. Except a life coach is about guiding you to make good decisions in your life to
Oh, I see what
improve
you're saying.
your living, and that's easily followed by themselves. And if they can't get their own shit together, what makes you think they're going to get yours?
I don't know if that's true. I think if they're messed up,
Oh.
but they've gone through the
No,
everything,
no.
then they might have really good advice. Like I don't want someone who's had a perfect life to give me
Okay, then
advice on the hard things.
You should go down the Skid Row and hire yourself a life coach
Well, there's the limit.
by that logic.